Today's sync sound is a stapler. In 3, 2, 1. All right.
I practiced that so many times I'm covered in, used staples.
Welcome to That Just Might Work, the podcast about everyday items. Jesse, how are you doing on this lovely late Sunday evening?
Yeah, it's late again. I'm tired. Not really because it's late. I was up, did a lot of things today, but...
Yeah. Do you ever sit and think, why are we doing this?
For the money and success, obviously.
No, so yeah, it's we don't make any money. I guess we get some personal satisfaction out of it, but it's 9 o'clock on a Sunday night. I need to be up early for work, and I'm researching the history of the hand dryer, and I'm just thinking to myself, why am I doing this to myself?
How did I get here? No, yeah, I ended up really deep into some scientific literature this time, and I did have that same question.
Yeah. So we don't have a guest for today. This was, again, life gets in the way. This was sort of a last minute. I think we chose the topic 40 minutes ago.
You were just washing your hands and you're like, oh.
I actually used a couple of hand dryers today. So I have some recent experience to share with everyone.
The resident expert.
Yeah. And, we'll get to our complaints, but I hate them. I hate public hand dryers.
Yeah, I've never been a fan.
Yeah, so it's sort of like a pun, right? Never been a fan. All right, let's start with the definition of the hand dryer. Are you ready?
Sure.
Hand dryers are electric machines found in public bathrooms. They may either operate with the push of a button or automatically using a sensor. Hand washing is an important part of hygiene, and so an effective method of drying the hands is necessary. That is from Wikipedia on the hand dryer.
This is a little bit like a public service announcement. Everyone should be washing their hands.
Hand washing is an important part of hygiene, in case you were unaware. It makes me laugh. In all public or all restaurant bathrooms, they have the employees must wash hands before returning to work signs, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Why don't we just have signs that say, you must wash your hands, before leaving the bathroom?
It's patrons are excused from washing their hands. Right. Oh, that's really gross.
We have no expectation of personal hygiene from our patrons.
Right. Everyone must wash their hands before leaving the bathroom.
Right. A couple of interesting notes. We'll get to the history, but you can probably already guess it's not that extensive of a history for hand dryers. But I do have some interesting notes. First, on costs. Facilities of all different shapes and sizes often have to make the decision: do we get hand dryers, or do we do paper towels, or do we do both? Right?
Yeah.
Hand dryers have been popular with industries for their apparent, savings. According to manufacturers, hand dryers can cut costs by as much as 99.5%. For example, a company may spend $2,340 per year on paper towels, whereas the hand dryer expenditure would be as low as $14 per year. This varies, of course, with the cost of paper towels and electricity.
Yeah, I guess you could definitely see why they choose to use it. Unfortunately, that just because it's cheaper doesn't really mean it's better.
Right. They require very little maintenance compared to paper towels. This is a strange sentence to me, which must be replaced. An added benefit is the removal of the paper waste. And sort of touching on those same notes, looking at environmental concerns due to the reduction in litter and waste in comparison with paper towels, which cannot be recycled, hand dryers are claimed to be better for the environment. But there's some controversy here in terms of what's more cost-effective, what's better for the environment and for the user. Another study shows that whereas the majority of environmental impact of a hand dryer occurs during its use, the environmental impact of paper towels is predominantly in the material production and manufacturing stages, not in the litter of the paper towels.
Right, it's the actual jet creating paper towels and transporting them that's the real problem from an environmental standpoint.
Yes, it's estimated that hand dryers use 5% less energy than paper towels in the first year. That's not very significant.
No, I guess not.
And they estimate 20% less over 5 years. So some people have said they're so close that it's hard to say that one's actually more environmentally friendly than the other.
You could say it's a wash. It's a wash and dry.
Yeah, that's good. On to hygiene. In 2009, and I'm sure that you've probably heard this by now, a lot of people say that hand dryers are just like cesspools of bacteria that you're just blowing onto your hands, right?
Yeah, I have heard that. Is it true?
There's some truth to it. There's a lot of misinformation at the same time. In 2009, a published study was conducted by the University of Westminster, No, it's Minster.
They asked the Westminster what he had to say.
They conducted a study to compare the levels of hygiene offered by paper towels, warm air hand dryers, and the more modern jet air hand dryers. And it found that after washing and drying hands with the warm air dryer, the total number of bacteria was found to increase on average on the finger pads by 194%. And on the palms by 254% when you're using a warm air dryer. So yes, there is truth to the fact that you're actually making your hands dirtier by using them.
Oh. I guess, is it just then the cost savings, really?
Predominantly. And there are those that argue, these scientific findings, so they sound pretty legit.
Yeah.
Drying with the jet air dryer resulted as well in an increase in the average of total number of bacteria on the finger pads by 42% and on the palms by 15%. So you'll notice there is a significant reduction in how much bacteria these things are adding to your hands using the new modern jet dryers.
Yeah, I did actually. I came across some of that. Some of the companies are definitely trying to take that into consideration as far as keeping bacteria down.
Yeah, and you see it in the marketing, right? It's like the most hygienic hand dryer.
Right.
But what they don't say is that it's like this is still putting bacteria from the bathroom onto your hands.
It's less gross than the competition.
Exactly. And while we're talking about that, we should talk about some of the branding on hand dryers is funny. What's that one that's super, the accelerometer or the accelerator?
Yeah, the accelerator.
And it's like feel the force.
I read
the branding and the instructions on these machines are hilarious.
I read a review site. Again, this is one of those things. Sunday night, I'm reading hand dryer reviews, but the guy was really excited about it. And he's like, "The Dyson Airblade. That's a sexy hand dryer." And I'm just like, these people.
Yeah, I'll admit we can talk about this at this point in the show. That Dyson Airblade, I don't know. That one's been singled out to be quite unhygienic. I think because of how popular it is. But I quite enjoy using that in comparison to more conventional hand dryer types.
I've got some qualms with it, but I'll hold them.
It's hard not to touch the thing, right?
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Sorry if I just spoiled your the bomb you were going to drop on us later in the show.
Maybe I'm bad at it, but I have a really hard time not having it just bounce my hands around and touch the gross surface.
Right. All right. Where did I leave off here?
The history
and hygiene.
Maybe not.
We were talking about the jet air dryer. After washing and drying hands with a paper towel, the total number of bacteria was reduced on average on the finger pads by up to 76%, and on the palms by up to 77%. So there you have it. Using paper towels actually does something to reduce bacteria from your hands, whereas air dryers overall are adding bacteria to your hands.
Yeah, I just don't know if anything in this episode is going to, like, I'm a paper towel lover. I realize it's not great for the environment, but I don't know if anything's going to sell me on the hand dryer here.
I'm curious to see where this episode goes, because I thought it would be a great topic because I used them today, and I just thought, I hate this thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, there's got to be a better solution. And then, in the past hour, we've sat here and tried to come up with ideas, and yeah, I don't know where this episode's going to go. The jet air dryer, which blows air out of the unit at claimed speeds of over 400 miles an hour. Do you buy it?
I feel like I don't, but I don't really know wind speed that well. That seems like it would rip the skin off your hands.
Well, the accelerator, in my opinion, it feels more powerful than the air blade. I don't know if that's true, but it's powerful when like you can see like your blood vessels and like all the skin on your hands like nearly being blown. Like older people sometimes have really like kind of sensitive flesh, don't they?
Yeah.
Like could you?
I'm not a geriatric doctor, but I'd say yeah.
Could you feasibly like blow the skin off of an old woman's hand with one of these dryers?
I'll take a note to look if that's ever happened.
Okay.
Or maybe is that foreshadowing for the death?
Possibly. The jet air dryer, 400-mile-an-hour winds, was capable of blowing microorganisms in a study they found from the hands and unit, potentially contaminating other washroom users and the washroom environment up to 2 meters away. So not only are these taking bacteria from the environment, blowing them onto your hands, they're also taking bacteria from your hands, blowing them onto other people in the room.
Oh, that's pretty gross.
We know from the toothbrush episode, there's poop in the air. It's just this hot environment that also allows for bacteria to grow. There was one of the like blockbuster blog posts that sort of like targeted the hand dryer industry was by a university student who put a petri dish on the inside of a Dyson Airblade in the women's restroom at the college. And it grew like, 30 different types of bacteria in like an hour or so. So
yeah.
Don't quote me on those numbers, but it sounds like it was, by and far, as a part of a project the class had to do to find like, hazardous locations, it was the worst. So, these things aren't really good. I think companies are maybe most interested in them for their cost savings.
Yeah, that's generally what companies are in it for.
Yeah. So just to recap, I have a little chart here for my quick reference. Paper towels, decrease of 24% of bacteria. Hot air dryer, increase of 117%. So I mentioned Dyson have countered the claims presented, suggesting that the results were intentionally falsified. I don't know who's trying to take down the hand dryers.
The paper towel lobbyists.
The paper towel lobbyists putting an article like this one. Those Dyson hand dryers are officially virus-blowing death machines.
That is pretty aggressive, actually.
It's an actual article that I read.
Funded by Brawny.
One last note on noise. Many people object to the loud noise that hand dryers make. Typically installed hand dryers make over 80 decibels of sound at a distance of 10 feet while in operation. And I think I've referenced it before, a little anecdote on hearing damage. I think it's 85 decibels. Sustained noise over 85 decibels can permanently damage your hearing. So it's no wonder we don't like these things.
Yeah, it's unpleasant to use.
The history. This is pretty brief. You want to take a guess, Jesse, as to when the first hand dryer was patented?
I want to say Industrial Revolution. I'm going to go 1850.
A little bit later than that. First hand dryer patented in 1921.
All right.
By R.B. Hibbard, D.J. Watrous, and J.G. Bassett. I guess they didn't like their first names or something.
No.
That was for the Air Dry Corporation in New York. This machine was sold as a built-in model or freestanding floor unit that consisted of an inverted blower, much like a handheld blow dryer, that was controlled by a floor pedal. It was known as the Air Dry, or rather, as Air Dry, the electric towel.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, that is nice, especially for the first one right out of the box.
Yeah, they nailed the branding.
These units were used in restrooms, barbershops, and factories. The Air Dry Corporation moved to Chicago and San Francisco in 1924 to centralize their distribution. Later, the hand dryer was popularized in 1948 by George Clemens. In 1993, Mitsubishi Electric introduced a new type of hand dryer that blows jets of air on both sides of the hand, pushing the water off of it rather than evaporating it. And that's all I have for history on the hand dryer. I'm sorry it's not as interesting as you may have expected it to be.
It seems like there's still room for improvement. I don't know if we nailed it, but there's room for improvement there.
I look forward to hearing your idea based on past episodes. I don't know if we've always found the right answer, but I think sometimes we're on the right track.
Right.
All right. With that, I want to take a short break and play a quick game.
Yeah, what have you got?
I've got a game called How Well Do You Know Restroom Etiquette?
Solid use of the soundtrack. I'd like to think I know restroom etiquette pretty well.
Yeah, I don't think that we should do this on a timer. I think maybe there can be a little discussion. I've got 12 questions here. This was taken from quizpug.com.
Reputable.
I took the test. I got a B+, so no pressure.
That's the score to beat.
Apparently, the score to beat is a B+. You know what? I'll put in your answers as we go through so we can see what your score comes out as.
Okay.
Question number 1. In a unisex bathroom at work, should the toilet seats stay up or down? Multiple choice, leave them up, put them down, or let the female employees decide. What do you want to go with?
I'm going to say leave them down.
You're going to say, you know what? I think I put the wrong answer on the quiz. Let me start the quiz.
Yeah, refresh that.
That is incorrect.
Really?
I think I got that one wrong as well. The correct answer they were looking for was let the female employees decide.
All right. I can't. Why would they decide to leave them up is my question.
I don't know. It'd be good if we had a female guest on this episode because we shouldn't be able to speak too much on female restroom etiquette. But yeah, I don't know. I traditionally will put the seat down if I think there may be a lady using the restroom after me.
Right.
All right, number 2. True or false? Men don't really need a buffer space between urinals.
False.
That is correct. I don't have anything to back that claim other than QuizPug says that is true. So,
I'm not sure, like how close do they want people to be? What does that mean?
You know, I'm sure you've been at a bar or a sporting event where you're like elbow to elbow, like you're actually touching the person next to you. I'm kind of thinking you need at least a touch-free environment.
Yeah, I agree, QuizPug.
Yeah. QuizPug, the expert on bathroom etiquette. How many women sit directly on the toilet seat in a public restroom? 2%, 25%, or 50%?
I'll say 25%.
25% is incorrect. The answer we were looking for was 2%, according to QuizPug.
We really need to research that. It seems low.
I don't know. If I need to sit on a public restroom toilet, I generally will.
Yeah. I do hear a lot of people talk about this, like, the hover technique. But
yeah.
But unless there's, a disturbing reason why I shouldn't make contact with the seat, I'm going to sit down.
Yeah, okay. Moving on. True or false, it's okay to talk on your phone in the restroom now that cell phones are so common.
I would say false.
You're going to say false. That is correct. Next question. Who uses more toilet paper, men or women?
Women.
Women, that is correct. How long should you wash your hands to kill germs, according to quizpug.com? 10 seconds, 60 seconds, or 20 seconds?
I just read this on a sign. 20 seconds.
That is correct. I'm more surprised that quizpug was
Yeah, right?
correct. Question number 7. What is the proper protocol for flushing a toilet? Flush once, flush twice, flush before using the toilet, and then after.
According to QuizPug. I mean, I want to say flush once. Like, the other flushes are largely unnecessary.
All right, that is correct. Question 8. True or false, you should always close the lid on your toilet prior to flushing?
I mean, I do remember poop germs on my toothbrush, but I'm going to say false.
False is incorrect. They were looking for true there. Question 9. Which area of a women's restroom contains the most germs? Based upon your experience, Jesse. The hygiene product box, the toilet seat, or the faucet handle?
I mean, I thought it was the hand dryer, but I'll say the faucet handle.
Faucet handle is incorrect. We were looking for hygiene product box.
Oh, God.
Question 10. True or false? If both men and women live in your house, etiquette suggests keeping the toilet seat down at all times.
No, apparently let the women decide how it should be kept.
That's not an option. Now it's true or false.
All right, yeah, leave it down. True.
All right, that is correct. A little contradictory there, Quiz Pug. Question 11. Women like to socialize in restrooms. That's sort of generalizing. In what part of the restroom is it inappropriate to casually chat? Over the bathroom stalls, at the sink, or waiting in line?
I guess, like, I kind of think all of them are okay, honestly, but I guess over the bathroom stalls is probably the least appropriate.
That is correct. And the final question, if you are staying in someone's home and using their shower, what products can you use from their shower? Any product in a jar or a bottle, soap, or every product is fair game.
That's my rule, honestly. If I'm staying at your place, I'm using anything I need in the shower. So see.
That is incorrect. We were looking for any product in a jar or bottle, specifically. All right, QuizPug is calculating your results. And how is that? How could that be? It gave you an A+.
Hey, I feel like I got a lot wrong, but
why did I get a B?
I don't know.
Well, it says based on the results of the quiz, you are etiquette awesome. Now that we're sure you've washed your hands for the proper amount of time, we can offer you a high five. You've got bathroom etiquette down to an absolute science.
Thanks, QuizPug.
Hold it. You definitely got more wrong than I did, and for some reason it gave you a higher grade.
I mean,
maybe because you got the hand washing question.
Yeah,
right?
Did they weight it more? That's a heavier weighted question.
Yeah, I guess so. They really, they really dig down into the technicalities.
Yeah,
on quizpug.com. I'm sure we'll be back there at some point. Moving on with the episode, why it sucks. You want to go first, Jesse? What do you hate about the hand dryer?
Yeah, I think we talked a lot about these, but I would say either the hand dryer doesn't really work very well, or it's one of the ones like the accelerator that blows so intensely that it kind of just shoots water everywhere. You can frequently end up with water like on your pants, on your shirt, up your arms.
Yeah, and that's dirty water too.
Right. And now it's mixed with the germs from the dryer. It's kind of gross. Right. We said loud. I don't like that. And you called it out before, but if we're talking about those Dyson ones, I really don't like that I bump my hands against it. I feel like I need to just turn around and wash my hands again. I'm stuck in that infinite loop.
Right. Well, you need some like upper body strength to be able to, immobilize your hands.
It's like playing Operation, which I was never the greatest at, I guess.
Right. Yeah, my number one complaint is noise. I just find them so offensive that I would rather wipe my hands on my jeans, which apparently is, or I assume is a more hygienic thing to do, which is strange.
It depends how frequently you wash your jeans. that's for another show.
Yeah, the jeans episode. But I hate the noise. I hate when other people use it. You know?
Yep. I mean, not that so many conversations should be had in the bathroom, but I've seen conversations get interrupted by the hand dryer.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like when I see somebody. When there's paper towels and I see somebody walk over to one of those accelerator dryers, I judge that person. I'm like, why?
You just try and yell over them like, it's making your hands dirtier.
My other complaints are that they're actually not that effective either. How long do you have to? Maybe I'm doing it wrong, but I don't feel like they really dry my hands that well. I
think I did read somewhere that it takes 30 seconds on one to fully dry your hands, but people don't stay there that long because they don't really want to. So they're there for 10, 15 seconds, and then your hands aren't as dry as they would be with paper towels.
Right. My other concerns were hygiene concerns and inconsistent performance. You go to one place, they've got the Dyson Airblade, then you go to the next, and it looks like they have the 1921 patented prototype.
Yes.
Where it's like a gentle waft of air.
It's it's slow to kick in. It's just like.
Right. You're like, this is not drying my hands. It's just blowing slightly warm air on them.
Right.
So those are my complaints. Let's go to you with innovative news. What did you find for? I'm curious. Outside of these jet air dryers that we occasionally see, what did you find?
Yeah, those are kind of the first two that I put on my list. Was the accelerator? It quotes an 8-second dry time, but I don't think we believe it. And yeah, like we said, it's very loud. Now, Dyson, their Airblade technology, they've put into a couple different forms. So the one that you stick your hands in, it's called the DB model. And I already said what I dislike about it. They have one called it might be the 5, the Airblade 5. It's a V, so I'm not sure. And this one, it's the same kind of like a blade of air, but it's just coming out of the machine and you run your hands past it. But this one has the same downside as other jet streams in that it just blows the water at your pants, basically.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. It's sort of a thinner, overall shape compared to most hand dryers. It's on the wall.
Yep.
And there's a V, and the air blows straight sort of down.
Yeah, we actually have one of these at work, and people will tell you that if you're sitting in one of the restroom stalls, when someone goes to use it, it actually blows air underneath the stall into where you're sitting.
Well, it's coming out at over 400 miles an hour.
Yeah, seriously.
Apparently.
And you're getting their hand germs into your stall.
I remember the first time that I saw one of those, and I kind of was like, where do I put my hands? I don't think I even immediately recognized what it was. It's so different.
Yeah, to their credit, Dyson makes nice looking products, I'd say, or cool looking products anyway. They have one more that uses Airblade. It's called the Tap model, and this one's kind of cool because it's at the sink itself. It's part of the faucet has 2 wands that extend and do basically the same thing, which I like. But it has, I don't know if I've used it, but from what I can tell, it has the same problem in that it just splashes water around everywhere. Especially in public restrooms, sometimes those countertops are already pretty wet.
Yeah.
So it just makes a mess.
Yeah.
Number 3 here, I don't know how to say this. It's spelled FFUUSS, which I imagine might be how you would spell the sound it makes. I don't know if that's I'm not sure what that is. The HD2 hand dryer. This one's kind of a smart hand dryer. It comes in a couple different colors. Supposedly generates pleasant air hugs, which I don't think it really does anything special. It just kind of shoots out jets of air in maybe a slightly different pattern. It does have the ability to monitor performance via a compatible telemetry app. So you can actually see usage, which is nice if you want to know how often do I need to clean this bathroom because I've got this many people coming through, and you could get energy usage statistics and stuff like that. The last one, if you're really into air dryers, which I don't think we are, this is the perfect home hand dryer, the Home Dry.
Okay.
This was an Indiegogo campaign from 2 years ago. I don't think they were successful. They only raised 60% of their funding goal, but it basically is a small hand dryer that you can mount in your bathroom, or it stands alone on the countertop. They claim a 14-second dry time. Again, I don't buy it. And they include a UV light, which is kind of cool to kill some of the bacteria on your hands. I did a little research on that because I know we had talked about using UV light to kill bacteria before, but I was wondering about if it was safe or not. And apparently normal wavelengths of UV light that are used to kill germs are not safe. Like in the medical industry and stuff, when they use it to sanitize, that light will actually cause like sunburn and skin cancer. But
right.
But apparently, and this is where one of the scientific studies I came across, is that there are different wavelengths of UV light, and some of them, 222 nanometers to be exact, still kill the germs and won't kill your skin.
Oh, good.
Yes, so that's good.
I'm kind of thinking. I'm surprised I didn't think of using UV light, because I think I've included it in some of my. I think maybe I put it in my coffee mug or something.
Yeah, but again, it just kills bacteria. It's not drying your hands.
Right.
So it's just really, it's a fun attachment, but that's about it.
Gotcha. All right. Should we get into our own ideas?
I think we have to.
I feel like maybe I should go first, because I've taken an unconventional approach here, especially for me.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna sort of I jotted down some of my ideas that I had before I came to my conclusion. First, I was thinking heat, right? Like heat can evaporate water, and I thought about like thermal. What's the term? Like thermal, like conductivity, or you know how you can put your hand in a 500-degree oven and leave it there for a few seconds without burning your hand.
Right. Yeah.
But if you put your hand in 500-degree water, it's going to melt off.
Yep. Yeah.
That's also not that water. I don't think can be water at that temperature, but you get what I'm saying. So I thought, how about something we stick our hands into? It's 500 degrees, and then we quickly pull them out, but it's just enough heat to evaporate the water without burning our skin.
Yeah, a little bathroom oven.
And then I thought about like little kids and sticking their heads in there, and I scrapped that idea. And then I thought, well, all right, Dyson's making all these cool, air jet dryers, blowers. They're also in the vacuum industry. Why can't we suck the water off?
Sure.
And I started thinking about like, well, how much suction would it require? Would it actually be able to? I don't know, like what's the surface tension of water on your hand? How much suction are we talking about? And I started thinking, well, it's still going to be noisy, but if it's sucking, then I suppose we could have the motor, like 2 rooms over and sort of isolate the noise a little bit, and then we're accomplishing a couple of things here. But I just wasn't in love with that idea. And then here's the conclusion that I drew.
Okay.
I say we get rid of the hand dryer. Its existence entirely.
Just wipe it from the history records.
Wipe it. Yeah. And along with that, let's get rid of paper towels.
All right, what's happening here?
When you walk into a public restroom, this is how I envision the future. You walk into the restroom, on the wall to your right, there's a dispensing box where you put on a pair of disposable plastic food-grade gloves.
Oh, my God.
You do your business, whatever you need to do in the bathroom. You don't wash your hands. You don't need to.
You just take the gloves off.
Then you simply head back to the door. You open the door. Maybe the trash is outside of the bathroom, right? Because we don't want to touch that door. And you remove your gloves using that standardized medical practice to prevent the bacterial transfer. You take one off, and you carefully take the other off.
Yeah.
And they wrap around each other, and you're good to go. Think about the benefits of this. You're saving significantly on electrical usage.
Right.
You're not using sinks in the bathrooms anymore. I mean, you may have them, but you're reducing a lot of water consumption.
Yeah.
Manufacturing costs, I'm making some assumptions here, but I think you're saving on them by manufacturing these plastic gloves versus manufacturing paper towels. There's maybe somewhat environmentally friendly, again, assuming that these are recyclable plastic.
And likely made of like post-consumer recycled plastic already.
Right.
You're like, sure.
Sure. So that's the gist of it. Just let's get rid of all of it. I mean, we're washing our hands. No one's washing their hands correctly. Only the employees are washing their hands in most instances. And I'll admit this, okay? If I go into a rest stop bathroom where I don't have to touch the door and I'm using the urinal, sometimes
you sure you want to say this on radio?
Sometimes I won't wash my hands. Sometimes.
It sounds like by washing your hands, you might ultimately be making them even dirtier, you know?
Well, all right. Generally, I will wash my hands. And the only times that I won't would be based upon the sink conditions, you know?
Sure.
Do the sinks look disgusting? Do I need to hold a faucet down? How much touching's going on there? Is there soap available and such? I just think when you don't need to touch any surfaces, you know, other than yourself to some degree, you're not picking up as much foreign bacteria.
I'm just like laughing hysterically, picturing people with like those like the clear plastic food gloves on, like you might have in like a bakery or whatever. You know what I'm talking about?
Exactly. That's the thing I'm talking about. So, you take these. There's no more ineffective hand washing. There's no more dryers blowing around fecal matter. You know, blowing your dirty water onto people 10 feet away, you know, according to those findings. I just think it's a sensible answer. Sure, it's a little funny looking, it's a little uncomfortable, but that's what I'm sticking with. I think we need to get rid of them.
All right. Well, I'm interested to hear. I want to hear some feedback on if people agree or disagree with that answer.
Yeah, send us your feedback to feedback@thatjustmight.workpodcast.com. And on the record, I do wash my hands when I use public restrooms.
I don't know. Verdict is out.
I have been known to make the argument that, like, I don't know, is it safer for me to not touch other things?
Right. Yeah. Okay. Anytime you have to open this door, touch the faucet, yeah, it's gross.
Right. What's your idea?
So I had kind of a similar, I don't know if thought process is right, but a journey to my final idea here, in that I spent a long time like looking up ways to dry things. I thought about liquids with higher evaporation rates, because I know like if you use hand sanitizer, that seems to dry really quickly. Sure. So I was like, what else? Like, what if, you know, at the end of washing your hands, you get sprayed with another liquid that evaporates really quickly? It turns out that most of those are really dangerous compounds or organic compounds. I mean, ethyl alcohol is one of them, but it's terrible for your skin. So I don't really think we should be spraying it from the faucets, basically.
Oh, yeah. Then we're also like inhaling it.
Right. Yeah. So again, I was like, I'm not in love with that idea. And then I thought about, and this is similar to your oven idea in a way, the lead-in frost effect. I think that's how you say it. And this is the reason that you can safely, like, very quickly dip your hands in liquid nitrogen, or on the opposite side, you can very quickly dip your wet hands into like molten metals.
Right.
It creates like a layer of steam around your hand that protects you, for that same reason that air doesn't conduct heat very well. You know, they did this on Mythbusters. You dip your hand in water, and then you can dip it in molten lead, and it's actually okay. But it does evaporate.
Wait. So we put molten metal beside the sink.
Yeah, exactly. You have one sink with the water, and you have one sink with molten lead. No, and I reached the same eventual point where I said, all right, I can't do this either. So I feel like Dyson is close with some of their air blades. But again, my biggest problem with
they're almost to the point where they're not adding bacteria to our hands. So I'll give them that.
Yes, I think some of them actually do have like HEPA filters in them, and they do work reasonably well. But my biggest issue was just the water goes everywhere. So I'm creating what I'm calling the twister, and this actually uses some of their vacuum technology. In the surface of the counter where you have the sink, you're going to have two holes on the left and right side of the sink itself. And there's going to be vortexes of air. Okay? And it's going to be funneled, like sucked down, basically. And so when you're done washing your hands, you're going to like make two fists kind of, and you're going to insert your arms into the counter. Kind of like you're inserting your hands into the top of a tornado. Not that that's a relatable experience in any way. Come to think of it.
If you're God and you've ever reached your hand from the sky down into a tornado, then
it's just like that.
Just like that. Okay.
And so the beauty is, because the air is going to be moving kind of in this circular motion, it's not going to push you to any one direction. It's going to keep your hands centered, and you're not going to be bumping into the sides of it.
Ah, perfect.
And because it's mounted in the sink, the counter, all that water is, I don't know where it's going yet, but it's going somewhere other than my pants.
Yeah, it drains right down with the rest of the water.
There you go. So that's my idea. I guess I'll have to pitch it to Dyson to see if they'll take it.
Okay. I don't hate it.
Yeah, but you have your bakery gloves, and so it's fine.
All right. So a couple of options there. That went about as well as I thought it would. Let's move on to, has someone died using it? I believe the score is it still tied 3.5, 3.5? Or did I think I took a lead? I think it's 4 to 3.5.
I think maybe half point. Yeah, 4 to 3.5.
All right, 4 to 3.5 on the record. Jason over Jesse. It's your turn. I've done some research. Why don't you take a guess at it? You can earn half a point if you correctly guess that someone's died. The other half, you would have to guess how it happened. And you can guess that no one's ever died by hand dryer, in which case you would earn the full point.
This is a bit of a tough one because it's not really a home object, right? So they'd have to kind of have died in public. What could happen? You might be able to get electrocuted. You really shouldn't even be touching them that much, though. I'm gonna say no. No one's died via hand dryer.
All right, so that's all you hypothesize, is that they're not. You don't make a lot of contact with them. You don't run into them as often as items in your own home.
Yeah, and we talked about blowing old lady skin off, but I don't think that's a legitimate hazard. So I'm gonna say no for the point.
You don't think that maybe some dangerous bacteria was blown out of one onto somebody's hand, and then they lick their fingers and
that is probably the most realistic option, but I don't think they could have tracked that down and really blamed the hand dryer.
All right, I'll give you your answer. In January of 1998,
no one died via hand dryer. I get my point. The show is over.
An 8-year-old boy was dining out at a local Pizza Hut in Mississippi when he went to use the restroom. When he did not immediately return, his mother went to check on him. When she opened the door, he fell into the hall, said Lee County Coroner Roy Barnett, who happened to be eating at the restaurant when the accident occurred.
No way. This is a joke?
True story. A short time later, at 7:32 p.m., Barnett, the coroner, pronounced the boy dead at North Mississippi Medical Center. His death was considered instantaneous as the result of electrocution from the restaurant's hand dryer.
Oh, damn it.
So you had it there for a second, but this thing must have short-circuited. Interesting thing is that for a hand dryer to electrocute someone, they'd have to be standing in a puddle of water.
Because usually shoes are rubber soled. Is that kind of what you're?
Well, I'm just getting at the voltage that we're dealing with on these isn't...
Oh.
It might give you a shock. It's just sort of unlikely that this happened. His family settled out of court with Pizza Hut for $100 million, the largest wrongful death lawsuit settlement at the time in the state of Mississippi.
Wow.
Yeah.
There's another trivia fact for you listeners.
I never would have thought. And that's a benefit of the Dyson Airblade, right? Except for in Jesse's case, he could be electrocuted by it, but most people don't touch it.
What a sad death that would be.
But I don't know. I never would have thought about any sort of danger other than bacteria when using a hand dryer.
Yeah, I guess the ones that you do have to push a button on, the really crappy ones we were talking about, they are all metal. So I guess I could see that.
We should keep a running list of what items have killed someone and which ones have not. I feel like it's like 75% have killed someone.
Yeah, most things are pretty dangerous.
So that's going to conclude today's episode on the hand dryer. I want to remind you can follow us on social media at That Just Might Work on Facebook and on Instagram, at TJMW Podcast on Twitter. Send your feedback to feedback@thatjustmightworkpodcast.com or just use the form on our website. And hey, join us next week. You never know, we might be talking about your favorite everyday item.
Don't forget your gloves.